Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. As always, guys, huge unqualified and unquantifiable apologies for no upload yesterday. Real life got in the way, as it sometimes has a tendency to do. I know all of you know what I'm talking about, and I just ran out of time. I spent most of yesterday, when I was looking for replays, just doing that, looking for replays, and I couldn't find any. And I know a bunch of you are now going to chime in a chorus and say, but I sent you some, and I can then reply with, maybe you did, but it doesn't mean it was any good. So, seriously, yes, you may have squashed your opponent who was 500 points ahead of you in the rankings with nothing but a pitchfork and some bad language in under 3 minutes, and you might be incredibly proud of that, but it doesn't necessarily mean it was incredibly entertaining to watch. Please, however, don't let that discourage you from sending in replays, because I need them. I need the replays. It's very important, so keep them coming in, guys. And all that I ask, of course, as usual, if you could just check them first of all for desyncs, that would be a huge help. Anyway, on to today's game. It's going to be a 3v3, and it's going to be an Engie mod game, because it's been at least 5 minutes since we had one of those, so I thought I'd better crack another one out to you. And it's going to take place on Plateau Small. So let's head on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. And very nice, easy division here. You can see the teams stacked up on top of each other. We're going to call this Team 1 up here, and then down here, this Team 2. Let's take a look at the players and how they line up. Up here at the top left for Team 1 in banana yellow, we have Dodo. He's going UEF, opening first land. And then team member number 2 here for Team 1 is BC's The Dream. He's rocking Elephantine Grey and going Seraphim, also going first land. And last but not least for Team 1, over on the right-hand side in lime green, it's BC's Tiap, and he's rocking Cybrin, going first and second and third land. So expect early heavy spam from that side of the map for him. Down here for Team 2 in Ferrari Red, we have Le Pen, or Lappen. We'll call him Le Pen because it sounds French. I don't know. He's going to say going Cybrin, and he's opening first land. And then team member number 2 to his right in baby blue, it's Rush. He's rocking UEF. And last but not least, going for a walk in Hallie Orange, it's BC's Silver Surfer. He's going Seraphim, moving out to the right hand side. Those are the players and how they stack up. And he's also opened first land. So Plateau Small, haven't cast one of these since Rise of the Immortals trophy. It's basically hilly plateau shrunken down to a 10 by 10 with 3 players here instead of the 4. I don't know whether there is room for a 4th player back here, and it's one of those maps where the mass disappears for redundant places. That would be very clever. But you can immediately see when you look in the middle, there is a very similar view indeed that looks just like it does on Hilly Plateau, only slightly less reclaimed. Those large rocks are missing, and the smaller pile of rocks next to where they should be are in smaller piles. So, yeah, nicely put, if I do say so myself. First few units, though, coming out for both teams. Rush is going hardcore expansion, 1, 2, 3, 4 Engies pushing out down the middle with absolutely no support whatsoever. If Team 1 are fast, they could get in amongst those and score some early kills. There's also one over here to the left-hand side from Le Pen. Le Pen is moving up with his ACU, though, and that will offer some coverage. He's also making a push up the left-hand side with a couple of Mantis and a Mole. Potentially get in around the back and do some damage. I think he's probably going to sit there in the middle and pray that an engineer or 2 befouls his path, but I don't think that's going to happen. Potentially run into some strikers instead from Dodo, who's moving out that way, protecting that engineer. And over here on the right hand side, we've also got a nice little combination actually. We've got a Mole, a Mantis and an engineer. Little protective detail there. Well, that engineer goes about his business grabbing those mexes. Forward comes some early spam though from the Dream, and I think this Selen here has noticed this engineer, and immediately those 2 scouts home in on it. I hope he sent his last letter home to his mother. He can be very proud of that. Manages to snag one of those Selens with a cheeky reclaim. But eventually finally gets popped. Runs into another engineer, but also a striker and a mantis combined from Le Pen and Rush. I think that will be the end of that little push there. Surely Le Pen has enough numbers, but the Dream is very far forward indeed. He's making a push for the middle. Engineer already in place, grabbing those mexes. You can see queued up PD placement there once he gets that T1 radar for intel. We like that very much indeed. And TF also pushing forward with Engineer and a few extra units over on the right hand side. Looks to be 3 Mantis and a Mole. Still searching for engineers. There is one down here from the geriatric bodyboarder himself, Silver Surfer. He's going about his business on a reclaim mission. Apparently TF is far too busy to deal with engineers until now, and in he comes. Going to focus down that engineer. Down he goes. And that's a little bit of extra, or less reclaim I should say, going into Silver Surfer's pockets. Decent quantity of units now filling up in the middle. Rush splitting his forces to the left and the right respectively, queuing up a few strikers up here to the top left of the middle. A few more clumping down here to the bottom right, but he's outnumbered there. Going to run into more Thams than he's going to be able to handle, I think. However, Dream not paying attention to this side of the map, and he's going to lose as many Thams as strikers that he manages to kill. 2 for 2. Not the most efficient use of units there. Le Pen, in the meantime, making a push up the left-hand side. He's going to focus down these 2 strikers for Dodo first of all. Can have free reign on those 2 snoops once they're down. Potentially pick up that mechs as well. Yet more groups of units coming in on the left-hand side. Dodo not pushing out too fast at all, and it's because he's on an upgrade. He's going straight for the T2 headquarters on that far forward land factory. So that's why he's short on units at minute 6. All of the mass and energy is going into that. That should give him nice early supremacy though on that side. And got paused factories down here as well for Le Pen. Does he have any further forward factories that are on upgrades? He's got one down up here. That everything's paused at the moment. It would suggest some cheeky upgrades going on somewhere, but where they are exactly I couldn't tell you. But a nice little run by now from Tiep, making it into Silver Surfer's kind of outer perimeter of his base, with about 4 Mantis taking down a Mex there, but going to struggle to push in too far because of this PD. Doesn't manage to pick up a radar though, so that's a little bit less intel there for Team 2. Nice grab there, definitely worth the losses. You can see Tiep has already made transition to T2 as well. Hoplites on the field, that will give him some nice ranged advantage here against Silver Surfer at minute 8. The Dream looking very confident though and comfortable in the middle. He's got his PD down, he's got a little bit of intel, he's got quite a lot of T1 units in the center as well, and has already made the transition to T2. So everybody on Team 1 has got T2 land tech available to them. So that is a nice, quick and early move to tech there for Team 1. We have got T2 tech for Rush, but not seeing any as yet for his 2 teammates, Le Pen and Silver Surfer. And the Dream pushing quite far forward there with his early spam. He's not going to want to overextend himself, so he's made a push, taking out a few mexes, and now he's going to pull back. But now some more success up here for Le Pen, forcing himself on an unsuspecting Dodo. That sounds a bit wrong, but you know what I mean. Snag a couple of engineers that were going about their business. Down goes another radar. Both teams doing nice work here on denying intel structures, but Dodo is going to cut off the field from any reinforcements. He's up here at the front. He's got a triad down and some T1 PD, so I'm assuming that's T2 engineering suite there on that commander. So that's going to go some ways to locking off this side of the map, which is good because Le Pen has been having some success on that side against him. He needs to shut that down ASAP. Now Le Pen trying to force his way up the middle between the Dream and Dodo, but he's going to be running into superior tech. We've got a Mongoose on the field here. It's strafing around, trying to avoid incoming fire and put as much damage as he can. We've also got a pillar in there as well. And needs to stop this run by somehow. Dodo is working on some T2 power. at the back. He needs to start funneling units back towards the top. He's obviously been focusing on eco reasonably hard. Tieps and Silver Surfer seem to be doing the lowest at a quick scan there on mass. Seems to be at the bottom of the pile, but you can never really tell. It could potentially just be short on power. Now the Dream pushing quite far forward, and he's got the gun upgrade there. You can see the rate of fire going down. Rush is just going to sit there though and bulldoze Dream in the face with his ACU. He's not bothered at all, and the Dream is rather low on HP. He needs to be a little bit careful here. He's down to 2,000 HP, and suddenly all his HP just evaporated. I don't know if he realized how many T2 units were in the mix there, and he just got himself extinct. That was a real mistake there from the Dream. I think he got rather excited or overexcited with that gun upgrade and thought he was in a better situation than he was. But 11 minutes down and one team member down for Team 1. That puts them in a very bad position indeed, especially since you consider Dodo has had a few issues early on in this game controlling the movements of Le Pen, and now he has an exposed flank up the middle with a ton of T1 units sitting there from Le Pen ready to go in at a moment's notice. Tiep doing reasonably well on the right hand side, keeping Silver Surfer at bay. Still not seeing any T2 tech in the mix for these ground units here from Silver Surfer, but he has obviously got the engineering suite on the comm there. We can see he's thrown down a T2 point defense. That should go some ways to stopping Tiep's advances, at least with his comm for the moment being. But forward come the units from Le Pen. Needs to be careful, doesn't want to throw these units away unnecessarily. There is, or there are quite a few pillars in that mix and 3 mongoose as well. He realizes he's going to struggle to get any penetration there with that group of units. Going to try a probing attack to the right hand side, but he's also going to run in superior tech there in the form of these hoplites from Tiep. Going to commit to grabbing that mechs. Surprised if he pushes that much further in though. I want to throw away these units unnecessarily, or at least I wouldn't. But we're now seeing T2 tech emerge from the left hand side of the field and creep up the left hand side of the map. And it's very important now that Team 2 really make a push, or put some pressure on Team 1. So give them time to eco up on those extra mass points. Be just as deadly as an extra player, sometimes more so because you've got more targeted use of mass. That mass and energy, that extra eco, can be put to better use when it's just one person controlling it. It's not always a great victory taking someone out of the game. You've got to punish that team and put them under pressure immediately. And I think the tech disadvantage they've been at over the course is going to make that quite hard for Team 2 to do. Silver Surfer still pushing T1 against Team 2. Not going to have a great deal of success there, I don't think. He has got quite a lot of Zuis in the mix, which will have good damage on those units if they stay still long enough for him to land any shots, but Tiep is far too busy microing them for that to happen. We're now seeing some T2 come in from Rush, Mongoose, a couple of pillars, and potentially if they can kill off this little horde of units, Tiep could find himself very thin on the field indeed, and Dodo's aware of that. He is riding to the rescue with his units from the left-hand side of the map. Can he spare them? Yes, he can. He's still got a decent amount on this side. Call that a fire base, but a protective area there, which he can maneuver units into in a crisis, which will give him some room to maneuver, shall we say. Tiep, though, managing to finish off those units with the help of Dodo. See if he's got on his commander there, Tiep. Those units do get dealt with very quickly indeed. He's got personal stealth and has got the main cannon's rate of fire increased with the microwave accelerator. So that is a nasty little comm Tiep has put together there. Throw down a factory and extend his production range. So 15 minutes down, one player down. Team 1 sharing out the mass in that little base area there. And Dodo just focusing on eco at the moment in this area. Has one T2 mass point there already. Just working on a second. We've got potential for a little bit of a run by here from Le Pen up here at the back. Dodo has spotted it. He's coming in to counter. There's quite a lot of units on the field. I doubt these units are going to be able to get in and do any real damage, and Le Pen realizes it's been spotted. He's going to pull back. Hasn't got any Medusas in the mix, so not going to do any real damage there to any of the structures, I shouldn't think. If I was Dodo, I'd think very seriously about throwing down a triad up here or something, trying to lock that down, because he's got a very nice little base here. He's got a nice little base here. This side of the map is looking reasonably secure. It's just this top corner here which is allowing some kind of route in for Le Pen. Rolling up around the back of the map now. Get in amongst some of this build capacity working on this air factory. He could do some damage. Of course, he's not going to know that. But Viper's on the mix now or in the mix now for Le Pen, trying to break this small base up here. Mongoose skirting backwards and forwards from Dodo there, trying to discourage them from doing what they're doing. Pings going down in the center, and quite a few interceptors on the map now for both teams. It seems to be primarily Dodo and Rush, but T2 air on the field for Tiep and a ton of Corsairs. The question is, what's he going to do with them? Very little happening in the main base section there for Team 2. It's a very cagey, standoff-like game, this one, so far. Both ACUs, Le Pen and Rush, camping in the middle. Rush on an upgrade there with his commander. And that is a nice, well-placed T2 radar up there at the front. That should give Team 2 excellent intel coverage. You can see how much of the field it's covering. But of course, drawbacks for it being so far forward are the risks of getting it taken out. T2 radar, not the cheapest thing in the world, but obviously significantly cheaper to build and run than an Omni. Now we have some Ilshivers in the mix finally for Silver Surfer. Some T2 on the field, and they are making their advance. Going to force these hoplites back, but in come the Corsairs. Massive collateral damage as they come in for a strafing run. Tiep's in there with his ACU as well. He's going to be able to deal with this without any problems, I should think. Waiting to see some overcharges if he can. He certainly has access to it. But look at that. Wiped off field. To be fair, they did take a number of Tiep's troops with them on the way out. Tiep's looking a little bit naked there without any real reinforcements. It would have been nice if that had been a combined attack there from Rush and Silver Surfer. Could potentially have put Tiep in a spot of bother on him, though I'm sure he would have pulled back had he thought he would have been any major danger. Now a little engagement happening over on the right-hand side. Predominantly Vipers and Rhinos filling up the T2 sections of this group of units there for Le Pen. But not that many of them on the field, it has to be said. This is a more meaty looking group of T2 heading out. I say meaty, certainly good at the standoff base cracking side of things, not so good in the one-on-one direct fire. But now Rush decides to engage, and if only these two had been synced up, potentially have threatened Tiep's life. But we've got T3 on the field now for Dodo. In he comes to the rescue with a bunch of Titans. I say bunch, it looked to be about 3, but there's a lot of units on the field for Rush. I don't know if he's going to be able to contend with that. He's going to have to back out. Both these ACUs now for Team 1 in close proximity. Going to have to work together very closely to stop this onslaught. Dodo multitasking like a boss, and now he's got the units on this left-hand side, I think, to force back some of these units from Le Pen. Could potentially grab this left-hand side. Some engineers coming in now could snab that Mex and potentially knock out this corner of the map from under Le Pen's control. Some nice power shields in the mix there for Rush. He's going to throw down another T2 radar. Interesting. Wants to get as much coverage on this side as he can. That'll give him intel on everything that's going on in the base. But now we've got some Titans in the mix on this left-hand side, and surely that's going to be the end of Le Pen's units up here. A little bit of micro backwards and forwards. Should be enough to do it. Allow the Mongoose to launch their volleys. Those awesome little bits of range advantages they've got. But a nice little run by here from Silver Surfer, getting in amongst the back of Tiep's base, taking down one T2 PGen, taking down another T2 PGen, now threatening the T1 that's assisting the Air Factory HQ. If he could snag a kill here, it'd be amazing, but doubt they're going to, as they slowly run out of HP because of this Brick's timely arrival. Oh, that's a nice snag. It just goes down in time. Very nice work there from Silver Surfer. The last Ilsheva goes down. But Dodo doing remarkably well over on the left-hand side, finishing off those units. There's still this little base up at the back here. The question is, do they even know it exists? No, I don't think they do. The footprint isn't visible. No planes having gone over that way for Team 1. And now we're seeing a little bit of standoff tactics develop. A couple of demolishers in the mix there from Dodo. They need to be really careful. Got these Titans on the scene. Now we've got some Perseus as well. Will do nicely against those parashields. But Dodo has bought himself enough time to throw down 3 triads, and the 4th one in production. It's being built incredibly quickly. Would possibly suspect that Dodo has the T3 engineering suite in that mix. Rush has the personal shield on his commander. Nice work there, helping to defeat those T3 units. Overcharge working well for him, counteracting these small groups of T3 that Dodo has on the field. He just doesn't have enough T3 to threaten Rush. It's too small in number. Rush is just able to walk in under cover of the shields, as when he has them, to knock them out of commission. And of course, Dodo not feeling like he can push too far with his T3 up here. Just mix of T3 and T2. Doesn't want to expose himself, potentially leave himself exposed by overextending, but Megalith sitting at 40,000 HP for Tiep. He's throwing absolutely everything into that he can, and this is crucial for Team 2. They need to get in there and attack while they have options. I'll take a look at how these guys are doing on Eco. Rush sitting on around 68 or so mass income. Can't really tell what Dodo's on because he's bottlenecking power hard, so that's not an accurate detail on the mass income. Tiep is on 148. That's pretty solid. Silver Surfer on 115. And Le Pen fluctuating heavily. Seems to be around the 70s. So eco-wise, it seems on the face of it that Team 1 are doing rather well, and if Team 2 allow that Megalith to get completed, as I say, they are going to face a world of hurt. And they just don't really have anything at the moment on the field to attack with. Factories going down there, or being placed by Le Pen. Just can't afford to leave these guys alone, to allow them to build up. They've got nothing except for this little base here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 triads. That will make a mess of your units, no doubt. But they need to get in and attack somehow. It looks like Rush is doing a little bit of a cheeky Lobo rush over on the right-hand side. Needs to send in accompanying units to defeat these direct fire units coming in to counter them. Yep, walking in with his commander as well, but I think they've run out of time. That Megabot approaching 100,000 HP, just 10,000 hit points to go. Very, very nearly there indeed. And now they are going to be in severe trouble, Team 2. what they're going to do to deal with it. They've been discouraged from advancing by these triads, by these demolishers and trebuchets, and that crab is now online, and that's going to be the end of this little base. Rush backing out with his ACU, Silver Surfer backing out with his ACU, Le Pen on the move as well. You realize that that section is lost. This is exactly the sort of situation I would find myself in were I playing. Get to some kind of level of basic superiority in terms of map control, maybe 60-40 split, you find yourself ineffectual with an inability to do anything with that small advantage. You allow your opponents back into the game. That base is done. Combination of Demolisher, Trebuchet and Crab Fire has destroyed it. It's no longer an entity in any way, shape or form. Crab on the move. Doesn't have a lot of accompanying units. It's got a few Loyalists, a couple of Titans and Percivals in the mix. Surely that's enough to keep it safe for now. Team 2 just don't look like they've been able to get enough units on the field quickly enough. They seem to have been out-ecoed. Bricks doing rather well though on the left-hand side. And suddenly this whole left-hand side looking rather open. That group of units that Dodo had camping that side, locking it down, has been eliminated. So Le Pen having some success there. Trebuchet putting fire on that forward base, and very unfortunate collapsing there of the shield. Dodo probably still suffering slightly from some power issues. He's on the breadline, sapping power from his teammate. Still forward, that crab comes, and next in line seems to potentially be this base here to the right. Looks like Rush is making some kind of flanking maneuver here with some units to the right hand side. And that base is down and out now for Dodo. Looks like quite a clear little entry should Le Pen decide to attack, and I think he should. He's not going to be able to contend with what's on the field right now down here. Needs to be sending everything on this side of the map in to try and cripple Dodo as best he can. There's no defense down here at all. Massive artillery fire coming in though from Team 1. And they're being very careful not to overextend with this crab. I think they're not expecting, or they don't realize they're doing as well as they actually are. They probably still feel like they should be further behind. I feel that they are further behind. Percival's just doing what they always do best, defeating bricks in even odds. Spam eventually coming in to deal with them. Of course, they don't do so well against that. Overkill and all that. And Team 2 trying to rush together and Eferta as quickly as they can. Get that chicken online to be able to deal with that crab, but I'm pretty sure he's going to lose out, especially with all these accompanying Percivals and Loyalists. And that build capacity is going to come under threat from the range of that crab any minute now. Going to be able to score some pretty easy veterancy if he can snag it all. Going straight after the HP on the Eferta, and that's not what they need at all. They need to get HP off that crab. They need that experimental assault bot online and as healthy as possible when Flaming Poo hits the proverbial fan, and he's not going to manage. He's going to move that forward a bit, keep that Ion Storm away from the power plant, hopefully, but it's not going to matter. It's going to go down. I imagine that T3 power gen will be a target of opportunity now for Team 1. Large air engagement going to be kicking off on the right-hand side, and look at all those ASFs there from Dodo. He has been very busy indeed. That air superiority will go a long way to furthering their chance of winning this game. lots of stingers out on the field as well for him. That's going to give him mobility on the field, and there really is nothing up there now on the left-hand side of the map for Team 2. What, if anything, they're going to be able to do about this. We have got a Monkey Lord coming in now for Le Pen. Should be able to finish off that crab. And that does mean that's quite a nice mass dump here for Team 2, but they're losing so much. I'm amazed that power generator hasn't been prioritized. 87 kills on that Megabot. In comes the Monkey Lord. Microwave laser engaged. Bam, down it goes, but there's a lot of Percivals there, and they will make a right royal mess of your Monkey Lord if you allow them to get too close. That's exactly what they are doing. Get your Monkey Lord out of there. Luckily, Brick's coming in to save the day, although he's down into the red, 11,000 HP and falling. The turn rate on that microwave laser is just abysmal. Sometimes it really struggles with elevation as well. But now these stingers up here for Dodo have free reign really to go where they please, as long as he's keeping his eye on the field. Lots of interceptors coming in to try and knock a few out of the sky from Le Pen. Takes them down before he loses them. And the ASFs are coming across the field now, but he's certainly going to lose a couple. 2 down already. They're going to get a second pass in. 3 down. 4 down. This is really unfortunate now for Dodo. 5 down, 6 down, 7 down. I lose all of them, I think. 8, 9. There they go. That is unfortunate. You might think they're only T2 gunships. What's the biggie? Well, when you have air dominance, which I think we can all agree Team 1 definitely had there, even a handful, 9 or 10 T2 gunships will ruin your opponents. They will have free reign to go where they please. They can knock out all of these mexes on the right hand side that belong to Silver Surfer, further crippling Team 2. Another Ethota under construction down here at the back. The Pen over on the left hand side just chilling. And Team 2 trying to eco now, building T3 power gens left, right and center as they try and work out what they have to do to get back into this game. A bug under construction right up here at the back for Tiep. A nuke launcher under construction for Dodo, as well as a fatty. So taking advantage of the time they bought themselves in this game, starting to bring out the big toys. Always nice to see. And Team 2 really need to make use of all this mass that's just been dumped on their doorstep. They've hoovered up the chicken wreck. Slight pause going on there from someone. That should be of some help for Team 2. Just don't seem to be able to get into this game. Haven't been able to cause any real damage to Team 1 in any way, shape or form. They did snag the first scout, but I think that was more the Dream's fault rather than any real successful push. Rush moved forward and the Dream refused to move back. That's what got them that scout. Bug being thrown down on the left hand side here for Le Pen. And that has been pinged with the assistant icon there, asking for some assistance from his teammates. Need to get that online. The problem is they don't have any real superiority, and the bug for Tiep is operational and incoming. And now they really have problems. They've been trying to spam up ASFs as quickly as possible, trying to get back into this game, wrestle back air control or air dominance from Dodo. Tiep coming in now over the top of the main base of Silver Surfer. We have got one chicken finished and ready to go. A lot of mobile flak on the field for Silver Surfer, and now that bug incoming, focusing on Silver Surfer. what happened to those Inties, or sorry, those ASFs. They have been downed. And in comes the flak. Shield holding at around 4,500 HP. That bug having to back out as this flak makes its way over to his position. He doesn't want to throw this away unnecessarily. He's going to take an awful lot of damage if he does. He's going to try and snag this T3 mechs as he can. And now there's ASFs coming in from both Le Pen and Rush. So both of these players committing to the air game. Not surprising after we see those two T3 P-Gens being thrown down there on the left-hand side and towards the middle. Bug still not really making any progress over here, sitting on 6,500 hit points. What's happening over on the right-hand side? Quantum Gateway under construction. It's always nice to see. And a third done on that nuke launcher. I haven't seen any chatter about it either from Team 2, so I don't know if they've spotted it. I have no idea if they've got any anti-nuke prepared. It will really make a mess of them. Rush building those T3 P-Gens very far forward. A little too far forward for my liking. Fat Boy skirting the fringes here of Le Pen's forward territory. Oh my goodness me. Disruptor. T3 artillery being queued up there for Tiep. He's going to build the associated T1 P-Gens first of all to help the power drain there and the rate of fire. That will be real troubles. And so nice to see that sort of thing happening in these games now. Wouldn't have been possible a few months ago, but of course, I think it was correct me if I'm wrong, you can tell me in the comment section if I'm lying. Was it 3621 or was it long before that that changed the costs on the artillery? It's now significantly cheaper than it used to be. And it does make it slightly viable in this late game, and I guess they're kind of burrowed in here. Team 2 feels like it's a good option. It's a little bit, sorry, Team 1 feels like it's a good option. It's a little bit turtley down here from Team 2. That bug still happy to be alive. 105 kills, not too shabby at all. But not doing a great deal of work. Seems to be using it more defensively now. Even though there's a horde of ASFs in the middle for Dodo. Both these guys seeming to be a little bit hesitant to overcommit. They don't want to throw anything away. There are quite a few T3 units on the field now for Team 2. And T3 units are in the mix now. It's no longer just T3 for Engie mod, T3 and then T4 and then only build experimentals because everything else is useless. Now you can build T3 units in sufficient quantity. They are a real threat, which is fantastic to watch. You get much more interesting battles that way. Nuke launcher is being heavily assisted. I'd say that's coming up to about 20%, maybe 15% left on that. Not long at all. And that could really catch Team 2 by surprise. And look at the speed at which that's being built. That is frightening. And to know who's pinging that, whether that's been noticed or not. It will have been noticed now. Rush coming in over the middle with a spy plane. And they can see what that is, that nuke launcher is there. Are they building any nuke defense anywhere, or do they have any operational that I've missed? That's got to be the target of choice for any nuke, surely. It's incredibly clumped, huge quantities of build capacity in the mix. A little bit more spread out in the middle, and Silver Surfer hasn't got much development going on in his base at all. It's interesting. I'm not seeing any reaction. They have it visible, but I don't think they've actually noticed that it's there. And there is a nuke in the clip, and there it goes. Oh my goodness me, that is going to make a mess of your face. Someone has anti? No, no one has anti. Oh dear. Nuke incoming. And It looks like it is indeed going straight for Le Pen. All those units are belong to us. Oh! It's hurting the back of my eyes. There's one bright light. And one gigantic hole where there used to be a base. But now we're getting a little bit of an engagement in the middle. And this bug has already shut down one Ithota. There's a lot of flak coming in, though, to try and counter it. Taking huge amounts of damage, but not sticking around to absorb anything that might potentially cause catastrophic failure. And that Iron Storm really causing problems for Team 2. Coming back in once again. Lovely little snag of veterancy there. Just enough to grab that hit point increase, and away it goes. What's the level of veterancy is that? So that's 4 of 5. There's one more level to go. Bit of pinging going down there on the support commander. Fat Boy retreating into some static shields in place there. These bricks just not able to forge a path up towards Team 1's base. The question is, are they building any anti-nuke now? I certainly would be. It's been placed down here at the back. Silver Surfer is on it. Once again, the fields go quiet, and every time they have one of these engagements, it seems that Team 1 gains an advantage in the number of units on the field. They are killing more than they lose. Cheeky little Percival on the ridge there, now getting blocked by the cliff, but look at that. That is very naughty indeed. If you could just scoot over to the right slightly, might be able to grab something, but there are some Seraphim mobile shields coming in now, which are probably going to be able to tank that without any real difficulty. He'd be better off just sending it in around the back and on a bit of a mass sniping mission. Now, how long on this demolition? Sorry, not demolition disruptor. It is completed, and the second one is 25% done. And the shells are incoming and have been incoming for a little while. The shields are under construction now. It is shield spam city for Rush. He is being primaried. The pen has been neutralized for the moment, or at least heavily disabled by that nuke. And that is a grisly looking group of Percivals on the field now for Dodo. Soul Ripper still going strong. Silver Surfer needs to bring that flak forward a little bit when that Soul Ripper comes in. Of course, the problem is it doesn't want to put it at jeopardy, or in jeopardy, the reach of those ground units. But nice little push now from the pen. Needs to keep going. He's in range of that Fat Boy. Needs to get in around the back. But look at this Monkey Lord that's got in out of nowhere, called Sneaky Bastard. Takes down a power plant, takes down the nuke launcher, so they don't need to worry about any more nukes, at least not for the moment. Where was Dodo's comm in that? So sneaky, I didn't even see it. Dodo's commander out here to the right-hand side, so would have seen it coming in around the side there. Very nice work there from Le Pen. And those bricks not going to have too much success. Obviously, that Monkey Lord didn't stop to take out any of these side structures, significant though they may be. He was going straight for the nuke launcher, wanted to incapacitate that. He's taken out 2 of Dodo's T3 power gens. It's not enough to cripple him though. He's still got plenty in the tank. Dodo continues to march forward down here, doing just fine. Yep, up front with a support commander renamed as himself. Gotta love that tactic. It's been a while since I've been fooled by it. That Dark Heart with Zoc was the last one that really caught me. Thought he was about to go down, and it was just a support commander. Always embarrassing when as a caster you get caught out like that, but it's easy to do, and that is after all the purpose. That's why the players do it. That's so many Percival's, accompanied with some bricks as well. The shields will go some way to helping to tank this. And Dodo not wanting to overextend. He's going to retreat, but for the moment, Tiep's going to stand his ground with the bricks, and he's going to lose a lot of them in the mix. His attention is elsewhere. He's bringing in a ton of flak. Will make life difficult for any air units that Team 2 want to use. And really, the only person really holding their own on the left-hand side for this game has been Le Pen, or holding their own on any side has been Le Pen. Doing sterling work up here on the left, but that Soul Ripper could be about to put an end to it. 195 kill points on that Soul Ripper. Very nice indeed. And look at this. There's nothing they can really do about it, barring some kind of snipe attempt. They are out of this game for certain. Surely there's nothing they can do about it. And nuke defense online and heavily assisted, although the threat for the moment seems to be neutralized, although Dodo's actually not allowing that to happen. He has gone straight up and rebuilt those. Of course, very easy to do. Get that massive building and eco boost when you rebuild something on its old wreck. It's 50%. Fat Boy under construction in the middle. Now 2 working disruptors and a third 65% built or thereabouts, and all of these are going to be heavily shielded. That is a horrible looking firebase, and it's so refreshing to see. Lovely to see those units in use. Oh, Rush, your base. What a mess. Clean up your room, sir. He's trying to spam T3 shields as best he can. Another T3 power plant down. How's he looking on power? He's got enough. Mainly because as those power plants go down, those shields that have been protecting them have been taken out as well. So the demand has dropped through the floor. And he's really not building anything and not assisting anything. Silver Surfer throws out the GG. He's pretty certain he's lost, or his team has lost. Not much they can do about it, and there's not really anything Team 1 needs to do about it. They can now sit there quite happily. There's no way in now for Team 2. They can sit there and let the nukes and the artillery pound their base to dust. Another heavy artillery installation, a Duke going down there, this time for Dodo. Renegades on the field as well. Get the feeling that Team 1 are toying with them a little bit. They could potentially finish this quite happily, especially with this horrendously large group of Percivals on the field. Gonna annihilate those incoming Percys from Rush. And forward comes the support commander to reclaim all this stuff. So many T3 wrecks on the field. And now the Soul Ripper coming in to add insult to injury. There is a megalith. Now 30% done over here on the left-hand side, maybe 40% done. Of course, it's taking a lot of fire from those disruptors. Not really very adequately, can't speak, adequately named as far as I'm concerned. Too close in appearance as well to the Aeon shield disruptors. It's definitely not what they're about. And now that bug just finishing off everything. Le Pen very vulnerable now. Soul Ripper locked on, drops below 2,000 hit points, couple more volleys, and down he goes. First member of Team 2 down and out at minute 53. And surely that's the end as Dodo marches forward with all of his Percivals. It's time to put this fast to bed. Rush's personal shield on his commander is depleted, and one massive volley from all of those Percivals just dissolves the commander. And look over here to the right hand side, Silver Surfer is attempting some kind of snipe. Gotta love the guy for trying. He's got a stealth field gen in place, and he's queued up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 tac missile launchers over here on the right hand side of the map. Tiep's commander is over out here to the right. If he doesn't notice it, he could be hurt. So much turtle going on in here. Look at all of these Serb turrets around the commander. They were probably worried about some kind of Masercom. I think that was probably their best option, Team 2. It didn't occur to them to go for it, but the snipe has been on the cards for a while, and spy planes, scout planes over here to the right hand side will have spotted this snipe attempt. Question is, has he got the eco ready to build the missiles? I think he does, but that would have been spotted, and Tiep already moving around and already building zappers. He's seen the snipe attempt, so there's no way that that is going to succeed. One volley does get launched before the impending destruction from those T3 RT emplacements, and the Duke even got finished as well. So 4 pieces of T3 RT on the field. Those TAP missiles are going to miss. Down goes Silver Surfer. Very nicely played, Team 1. Despite losing BC the Dream, they still managed to pull out the victory. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. It was rather a sedentary game, but fun nonetheless. Great to see some units you don't see every day, those T3 RTs in place. Certainly, I think Team 2 could have done a few things differently, but they certainly played better than I would have, so congrats to them anyway. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.